We are taking a break from our normal programming to enjoy the holidays. But in the meantime, Speculative Sandbox presents the 12 Days of Tropes, a limited series of micro-episodes that briefly touch on some well-known or maybe not so well-known tropes. Each episode is a secret until you open it, just like a present. And who knows, maybe you'll see one of these tropes fully analyzed with a guest in the future. And if you're writing this holiday season, consider exploring or inverting what you hear. My favorite example of an unreliable narrator is Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. I have not read the book, but I have seen the movie starring Christian Bale, and you finish it with a sense of uneasiness. Did the events in the movie actually happen? Like when he shot up several people in cold blood? Or did Patrick Bateman just think they happened? Or maybe he wants us to think they happened. Either way, we're not sure because we don't trust the narrator. Unreliable narrators are perfect for thriller and mystery stories because they're unsettling and can throw us off our tracks. But unreliable narrators can also be used as a general literary device based on the character's internal biases and perspectives. Maybe the character misunderstood what actually happened. Maybe they feel guilty and are trying to divert attention. Or maybe they were conditioned to see the world a specific way, and now they're projecting that onto you. Maybe they're traumatized. A really great example of this is Life of Pi. Spoilers if you haven't read the book or seen the movie. The whole time you thought this boy, Pi, was stuck on a boat in the middle of the ocean with zoo animals. A tiger kills all the other animals on the boat, and Pi spends the entire time trying to survive. At the end of the story, when Pi is finally rescued, he reveals a different version of the story, where there are no zoo animals on the boat, but people. A man had killed everyone, including Pi's mother, and Pi ends up killing the man out of self-preservation and revenge. The reader and his rescuers are left to decide which version of the story is the real story. So how do you write an unreliable narrator? According to tvtropes.org, it may seem harder than a straight traditional story, but here are some things to consider. A framing device helps to establish that the narrator is a character and not a supreme narrative being. A character can be influenced and influence. This does extend to characters that claim to be the author. A good example is the John Dies at the End book series by Jason Pargin. First-person and third-person limited stories are great fits for the unreliable narrator. This allows for the innocent, inaccurate version, which means only information known to the character is given to the reader, or at least the information the character is willing to provide. The Game of Thrones books are a great example of this, as each character presents their own perspective of the world, and the reader has to decipher what is truth. Unreliable narrators can have an interesting impact on its audience, with people arguing for different perspectives. Some people may even completely misunderstand the story. Do we find unreliable narrators in real life? Well, let me ask that a different way. Have you ever felt gaslit by someone? They give you an answer, and when you repeat it back to them, they claim, "They never said that." Gossip is another form of unreliable narration. The information you're hearing about another person is filtered and incomplete. And getting even more cerebral, think of everything in your life that you considered norm. Your experiences and internal biases color your perspective. So as you tell your friend or your mom or your brother about your day, how does your tone impact your story? Would it match what another person might think about those same events? Are you an unreliable narrator? Tell us about your favorite unreliable narrators over on our Instagram and Twitter. Speculative Sandbox is a volunteer-run podcast that relies on the collaboration of fellow creators like you. Join the conversation and participate in fun polls and questionnaires on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Interested in being in a future episode? Our DMs are open, or you can email speculativesandbox@gmail.com.